Takže dáme páni, vítam vás u ďalšieho dielu na hru Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments. A minule sme dokončili druhý prípad ohľadom zmiznutého vlaku. A tentokrát sa samozrejme pustíme na tretí prípad, začneme ho, uvidíme čo sa tam všetko bude robiť. A pokúsime sa ho nejak samozrejme rozlúsknuť, samozrejme nemyslím si, že to dáme za tento diel, že jo? Pretože to prípady sú docela dlhé, aspoň na také 2-3 časti vždycky. Každý jeden. Takže uvidíme. Zoberme dopis, ktorý nám tu prišiel. Imperium posiluje svoj ľud. Počínaje včerejším dnem přidalo sa k britskému úsilí mexické spoločenství Karkal. Konečná dohoda prináša nesporných výhod pro Londýn i celou Anglii. A je skvelým úspěchem naší jedinečné diplomatické a politické reprezentace. Další zprávy k zádnemu zmiznutí vlaku došlo u stanice SIEeng. Dobre. Tak. A teraz myslím, že môžeme ísť do lázni. Na Strand Lane. Uvidíme, čo nás tam bude čakať. Skúmame miesto činu. Jak to je aké pekné, že tuto práve číta Sherlock Holmes tú knihu Crimes and Punishments. To je pekné, pekný detail. Sochy a cecíčky a klasické veci.
Beautiful place. With a dreadful murder. The body of Sir Rodney Bentcliffe is still in the steam room. It has not been touched, per your usual instructions, Mr. Holmes. I shall be waiting for you here, but please hurry.
Are you able to identify the men who were with the victim in the steam room?
Yes. The manager of the bath, Sir Gregory Pitkin, a lad from the city council, Garrow, and an archaeologist by the name of Blinkhorn. I think the plump one, Garrow, did it. He doesn't seem right in the head.
Well, we shall see. You found no murder weapon?
No, and that's why I called you. All three witnesses and the victim were locked in when the murder occurred, and they remained so until we got here. We even had to pick the lock to enter.
I see. Was there anyone else here, apart from those gentlemen in the steam room?
Yes, a Mr. Phillips. He was the one who called the police. He'll be able to give you more details.
OK. Takže pán Phillips. Phillips.
Good day to you, Mr. Phillips. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my colleague, Dr. Watson. Would you be so kind as to answer our questions?
Certainly, sir.
Poďme si ho preskúmať. Jemné vrásky. Pedant. Striha sa sám, takže aj žije sám. Takže sa striha sám neznamená, že žije sám, akože... Lištivé knoflíky. Manchester City, niekto tu fandí Manchesteru. Hahaha, odeslaný telegram.
Please tell us the chain of events from the start of your day. Everything that you can remember. The slightest detail may be of importance.
Very well, sir. I came in at 6:30 this morning, and I opened the baths. I made sure that the room was clean, and I prepared the towels. The brazier was still burning.
There was a fire burning all night.
Yes, Sir Gregory ordered me to light the brazier yesterday. It takes some time until the room is fully heated. The gentlemen had a meeting at 9 o'clock this morning. I wanted everything to be perfect. They'd been in the steam room for 20 minutes when I suddenly heard shouting. I ran to the door, but it was closed. I couldn't open it. So I ran out to the street to call for the police. One constable came up, and then there were others, and they picked the lock. Then Inspector Lestrade came along, and he told us that nothing should be touched.
Did you receive any other visitors this morning?
No one. Until these gentlemen arrived. Sir Gregory was the first. And then, while we were discussing work details, Sir Rodney and Mr. Blinkhorn arrived, and Mr. Garrow followed.
What happened after that?
I waited until they'd all entered the steam room, then I returned to the hall. The changing room door was open, so I should hear if they needed anything.
You would have heard if someone had entered or left the steam room.
Certainly, sir. These doors make a lot of noise.
OK.
These baths are becoming sinister.
Are the steam rooms on the other side, Mr. Holmes?
Idem zle.
Frigidarium.
Are the steam rooms on the other side?
Dobre, dobre, kľud. Takže ideme tam teda, preskúmať to trošičku.
These clothes belong to one of the suspects from the steam room. Clothes belonging to one of the suspects. Expensive clothes belonging to one of the men from the steam room.
Čo je toto? Šampáňo.
Champagne for a special occasion. An ice
A
bucket
lat.
to keep the champagne chilled.
To by mal byť všetko, ne?
Unopened.
A? Nie,
It was
neotvorená.
intended to be enjoyed after the steam session.
OK, teda. Oh, no, už sme tu. Oh my god.
Lord Holmes.
Ah, death with a peculiarly Roman piquancy.
Like the one you almost had an hour ago.
Let us forget about that.
OK, poďme najprv preskúmať... Aha, to sú ďalší. Poďme najprv preskúmať okolie. Tu máme okušky. Sú rozbité, Harry
One
Potter,
lens is
prasklinka.
cracked, probably due to the temperature of the brazier.
OK.
These lenses are for myopia. The wearer is short-sighted.
Takže krátkozraky. Kožná
The
oheň.
brazier is still burning. The heat here is extreme. It is too hot. I cannot reach into it. I will need something to pick up this melted metal.
OK, potrebujeme dačo.
With the steam on, I'm unable to see even a few feet away.
Na. Pustíme to späť. Zatiaľ tu asi nič nemáme. Poďme preskúmať tú mŕtvolu. Teraz. Takže za takto máme pravá ruka.
The death is very recent. Between 30 minutes to 1 hour ago.
Some dirt or earth. I'll take a sample.
Vzorek, na čo ti je vzorek hliny?
Look, Watson. He was wearing a ring. He very likely removed it before the steam session.
Alebo mu ho niekto ukradol.
The wound should not have bled so profusely. This pool is rather large.
There was only one hit from the weapon. It pierced the right eye straight through to the brain. Death would have been instantaneous.
I think we have found all that we can here, taking into consideration the abysmal lighting. Constable, we have finished with the body.
We don't have many leads here.
What concerns me is that we still have to find the murder weapon.
Mr. Holmes?
Please have the body removed without disturbing anything else in the room.
All right, Mr. Holmes.
I was wondering, Holmes, it's fairly reckless to carry out a murder inside a closed chamber. Why do you suppose they did it?
There are a great many possibilities. The murderer was in a hurry, or he is an artist, or a ghost. Or he wanted to ensure that I'd be brought in on the case.
Probably the latter. You are ridiculous. Do you know that?
Dobre, tu máme ďalších troch.
It's horrible. I can't talk at the moment.
I'm in shock. I don't want to talk.
It's horrible. So Rodney, he's dead. Can't we speak about it somewhere else?
Blood traces wiped on the towel.
I found him. I touched his shoulder, thinking that he
A
was...
ešte tu je krv.
I should check this blood sample at Baker Street. This
Máme
key
tu
was
kľúčik.
covered in blood. I should ask Phillips about it.
OK. A tu potrebujeme predmet, na to nemôžeme zatiaľ spraviť. Myslím, že máme v tejto miestnosti zatiaľ hotovo. Zatiaľ.
Mr. Holmes, I should like to take the suspects to the yard. You can interrogate them there. Any objections?
Please wait. I need to do something first.
Nie, už máme všetko.
How many people have
Ešte
keys
toto,
to the
no,
steam
sa
room?
spýtame.
We have just the one key for now, which Sir Gregory gave to me.
So, this morning you opened the steam room, and then?
I put the key inside my desk, but when they called, I couldn't find it. It had disappeared. I don't know where it is.
Did you leave the baths at any time, or receive any visitors?
No, sir, I did not.
You are not telling the truth, Mr. Phillips. You left your work this morning, and you went to the post office, where you dispatched a telegram at around 7:30.
But how could you... No,
The telegram was for someone in Manchester.
Mr. Holmes, it's I'll tell you everything. I left the baths at 7:20. My sister wrote to me yesterday, and she needed a reply, or our mother is unwell. I was away for 20 minutes, and I closed the baths on my way out.
Did you receive a reply from your sister?
No, she wasn't meant to. I just told her to pawn my old school uniform so that she could pay for the medication.
Did you check to see if the key was still in your desk when you returned?
No, I didn't. Please, Mr. Holmes, don't tell the police about this. Sir Gregory would give me the sack. I need this job.
I see. There is a bottle of champagne on ice in the changing room. Do you have any idea who left it there?
There is? Are you quite certain? I didn't pay any attention. Do you believe that it's important?
Záleží od toho.
Mr. Holmes, I should like to take the suspects to the...
Áno, môžeš. Môžete v
No,
panele
Lestrade.
stráde. Takže. Aha. Dobre. Poďme teda do Scotland Yardu. Aby sme prehľadali nejaké tie osobné veci. Samozrejme. A samozrejme, pardon. Vypočuli svedkov. Takže. Mali sme tu mať 3, 4 dokonca, wow.
An embroidered silk handkerchief. A fountain pen with solid gold trim.
OK. Sir Gregory.
Sir Gregory Pitkin's visiting card.
My sa moc nedozvedeli teda.
When Garrow
Ručník
found Sir
krvavý.
Rodney dead, he wiped the blood upon himself. A phial with herbs. Do you know what it is, my dear fellow?
It's the St. John's wort flower, Holmes. It's commonly used as a drug against melancholia. However, an overdosage might lead to a rash or even hallucinations.
Halucinácie vravíš? Sir Gregory Pitkin, žejiteľ pánu Blinkhornovi. Vážený pane, v zájmu svých aktivít jsem nucen trvat na tom, aby se poměry v lázních změnily k lepšímu. Máte na starosti výkupové práce pod frigidáriem. Výzkum přesto pod vaším vedením nepokročil. Nepodařilo se vám objevit nic cenného a místo přesto zůstává veřejnosti nepřístupné. Frigidárium je nahraditeľnou součástí římského komplexu. Naléhám na vás, abyste práce do 2 měsíců ukončil. Uzavřete v této době probíhající výzkum a dajte si jiné zaměstnání.
An ordinary pencil.
Obyčejná tuška, OK. Tento tu má toho veľa.
This ring was most likely the one that Sir Rodney wore. He removed it before entering the steam room. An Egyptian symbol. It is a very old jewel. I see the join. This ring was repaired, and quite badly too, with silver.
Why on earth would they wear such a ring?
A very pertinent question.
OK, takže minca.
An old and rather dirty coin. Rodney Bentcliffe's notebook. It may contain something of interest. The last pages were torn out. We must find a way of retrieving Sir Rodney's last lines. Watson, please prevent anyone from entering the room. But first, fetch me a pencil. To begin with, a few strokes of the pencil will be enough. I don't want to damage the traces.
OK. Takže, to bude trošku trvať, než to vyfarbíme. No. A už sa tam niečo rysuje. OK, prvý nájsť zbytok. Nech to máme.
And then to gently smudge the leftover pencil marks with a handkerchief. I'm sure that Watson won't mind if I use his.
Vôbec sa nebude hnevať. Už som na to téměř přišel. Toto datum vstupí do histórie, čo som tam videl.
Mr. Holmes, the coroner... But what are you doing? Tampering with the evidence?
I prefer to make them talk. Today, I almost found it. This date will go down in history. Sir Rodney was about to make an outstanding discovery.
Wonderful.
I could retrieve only the final words. The rest of it is lost. Perhaps the autopsy will assist us in that matter.
I'm not sure that I can allow you to inspect the body now.
I am sure that you must, Constable.
Well...
OK, vieci rodný. Šebiek 63, pravé oko proraženo zahnutým odčím, prúnik až po čepel, odčí poškodil nadočnicový oblouk, oddelilo časť čelní kosti a přetnulo komisurálny vlákna po průchodu, malým mozgem přivodilo krevní léze. Suma uvedených zranení byla bezprostredne príčinou smrti vyšetřovaného. Na pravém lísím laloku sa nachází starší rana, vyplnená slizovitou hmotou a žasnatými časticami, ktoré vypovedají o chronické infekcii spôsobujúci inhalácii výparu v požemných komorách, snad rozkladajúci sa múmy, nebo vysušených a tlejcích potravín, ukladaných ako dary pro zemřelé. Ostatní časti tela zdají sa byť nepoškozený. A ešte tu máme jednu vec.
A hand-drawn map.
Môžeme mať všetky preskúmané. Nice. Takže poďme si pokecať.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation.
Poďme krásne odprava.
Good day to you, Sir Gregory. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting the police with their investigation of the murder that took place this morning. Would you mind answering a few questions?
Tell me, Mr. Holmes, will I need to stay here for very much longer?
Tak ukáž sa. Prsteň. Šlachtický pôvod. Zlatá retíľaska. Som niečo videl. Tvaru z pohrdání. Ešte niečo tu musí byť. Ale kde? Arogantný výraz.
You are the manager of the baths, is that correct?
Yes, I'm passionate about archaeology. I wanted to restore the ruins. My ambition is to open the baths to the public. Living archaeology can be a profitable business, although now I'm not so sure.
I see. When do you wish to begin using the baths?
When the archaeological researches are over, I will be free to complete the restoration. It is the usual process.
What was your relationship with Sir Rodney Bentcliffe?
We were not particularly close. He had an unpleasant temperament, suspicious, authoritarian, unkind. People possessed by genius may be forgiven for their nature, but not by me.
Was he obstructive?
Not at all. Everything he did led us to greater success. He helped us increase the potential of the building.
Please tell me what happened this morning.
The test that we performed this morning was a success. The steam was working well. Then, of course, that awful murder.
What did you see?
The steam was too thick to see anything. But ask Garrow. He saw the body first.
How was the work progressing before Sir Rodney's arrival?
Rather slowly, I would say.
Zle. Aha, toto je ťažké, pretože tu nemám. Ne, zle zase.
Rather slowly, I would say.
Yes.
Sir Gregory, could you please explain this letter? You expressed the wish to call off the research work at the baths.
It was all about Blinkhorn. He was merrily digging away and taking very little care about it, ruining everything and finding nothing of any value.
But the arrival of Sir Rodney changed your mind?
Sir Rodney's work was extremely promising, and it was good for the bath's publicity. So yes, I changed my mind.
Had Sir Rodney exhibited any recent strange behavior?
Look, I'm not a suspicious fellow, but I think that he had professional interests elsewhere that he did not wish us to know about.
Why should you think that? Where?
I have no idea. But after all, it was not my business.
Did you bring a bottle of champagne to the baths?
Absolutely not. Sir Rodney did, I think.
Are you aware that Mr. Garrow is under a form of medication?
Garrow? No. But I never liked that parasite.
Do you believe him to be capable of murder?
Well, he did have blood on him. Does that make him a murderer?
Okay. Takže
Please
Blinkhorn.
escort this suspect for interrogation. Good day to you, sir. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and I am assisting the police with their investigation of the murder of Sir Rodney Bentcliffe. Would you mind if I asked you a few questions?
Not at all, Mr. Holmes. My name is Percival Blinkhorn.
Ok, poďme si ho preskúmať. Zas. Ok, uprený uhľad, vnímavý. Takže nemajetný. Špinavý. A mozolí.
What is your occupation?
I'm an archaeologist, specializing in the Roman period. I'm working on several excavation sites at present, including the baths at Strand Lane.
Can you tell me more about the baths?
Well, we're hoping to retrieve a great many interesting artifacts from the site, and to list any items of value before their eventual restoration and exhibition.
And has it been successful?
It has, thanks to Sir Rodney.
What was your relationship with Sir Rodney?
Well, I couldn't say that he was a kind man, no. But he was talented. I felt a great admiration for him, I must say.
Was it your first collaboration?
I had met Sir Rodney briefly once in Egypt, and I'd shared my researches with him. Surprisingly, my work did convince him to come here. He arrived only a couple of months ago.
Surprisingly?
Well, Sir Rodney was a cold man, and so very secretive too. But I learned so much from him. I can't believe that he's dead.
How well were your researches progressing before Sir Rodney's arrival?
Rather well.
This letter reveals that Sir Gregory was prepared to put a stop to your work.
Yes. But since Sir Rodney's arrival, he had calmed down. He allowed us to work. I'm not sure what they agreed on.
What will happen now that Sir Rodney is dead?
Well, I hadn't thought about that. But if it's needed, I will fight to defend Sir Rodney's expectations.
Can you tell me what you saw today?
Well, we entered the steam room and we all went to sit down. The steam was particularly dense, and I didn't see anything much further after that. I just heard Mr. Garrow shouting, but we all ran for the door and bumped into each other. I was very alarmed by this point.
What did you do?
Well, the door was stuck, and with all the steam, it was quite frightening. I was barely able to see my own feet. Garrow was covered in blood.
Do you believe that Garrow killed Sir Rodney?
Oh, no. Garrow couldn't harm a fly.
Can you recall any recent event that would occur to you now as being a little strange?
Well, yesterday we had a small argument.
Is that all?
No. Sir Rodney informed me that he was to attend the London Archaeological Congress with me. Then he advised me of quite the opposite. And rather aggressively, too.
Do you recognize this ring?
Certainly. It's the famous Aswan ring. Sir Rodney brought it back from his last campaign in Egypt.
And he kept it for himself?
Sir Rodney has had his own particular ideas of archaeology.
What can you tell me about Garrow?
Well, he always looks so sad. And he has been acting strangely lately. He complains about voices and visions. I will keep an eye on him because I'm worried.
Did you place the bottle of champagne in the changing room?
No, I did not.
OK.
Do you have something else to ask me?
Ešte tento Garrow.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. A good day to you. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting the police with their investigation of the murder of Sir Rodney Bentcliffe. Would you mind if I asked you a few questions?
I am Tristram Garrow.
Takže, kurý pod očami, spotený je, neoholený. Špinavé oblečenie a nejaký ochranný amulet.
What is your occupation?
I am a councillor at the district chamber.
And what were you doing at the baths?
Well, I follow the researches. I am interested in archaeology.
You follow them?
Yes. So many things happened and we need to know. Or perhaps it's better hidden.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Garrow.
I meant nothing by that. I apologise.
What was it like to work with Sir Rodney?
It was like working with a genius. He was a hard man, but then you know this world is hard. There are always people who want to steal from you, and he trusted me. But oh,
Are you feeling unwell?
I'm sorry. It is I remember. Oh, I feel so sorry.
Do you need anything?
I feel bad. I hear. No, nothing. I'm better now.
Please try to recall what you saw today.
The room was so hot. I had to remove my glasses. I was not feeling so very well in there.
But you found the body.
I saw the knife, you know, flying through the air. I saw the blood. I tried to escape. I don't remember.
Saw the knife? What did it look like?
Everything was as if in a nightmare. It all happened so fast. The knife was shining like gold.
Did you place the bottle of champagne in the changing room?
What? No.
OK, takže to bol asi Sir Rodney.
His ring. Oh, it should be destroyed.
Why do you say that?
It is a cursed ring, digging dark secrets.
Really?
It is after me now. I know it. I shouldn't have worked on it in the workshop. It's too late now.
OK.
Had Sir Rodney exhibited any recent strange behaviour?
Well, he had been rather secretive these past few days. Last Thursday, for example, I saw him leave. When he returned, it was very late. He showed me some wet coins, Roman coins, and he started to laugh. This is the coin that he showed me. It is from the 3rd century.
It must be very rare.
No, I don't know. Thank you. Thank you. This will help me to calm down.
Do be careful with the dosage.
I will.
I mean it. Garrow appears to be rather mentally disturbed. Either that or he is a good actor.
OK. Máme kopu indícií. Lež sila Rodneyho. Proč si Rodney něco tajil? Mohl by jeho tajemství být motivem vraždy? Well. Zjistí, kde byl Sir Rodney několik dní před svou smrtí a odhalil jeho velké tajemství. Garrow vlek. OK, toto už nič nefunguje dokopy. No ale myslím si, že na tento diel by to mohlo stačiť, dámy a páni. Pokiaľ sa vám video páčilo, tak nezabudnite dať určite like, pokiaľ sa môj content páči. Nezabudnite odber vedľa odberu zvonček, aby vám neušlo žiadne ďalšie video. No a zase ďalej nás pomôže, takže sa majte a adios amigos.